and across the OECS. The Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank is moving with the technological times, and they have just launched what they're calling their new Smart ATM deposit features. We're very honored this morning to have with us Michele Marhsall. She's the Marketing and Communications Manager over there at ECAB, and she's joining us on the Zoom platform. Good morning, Michele. Welcome.
Good morning, Jacqui. Along with me is Jessica Russell as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't see Jessica on the platform, so she is there with you as well. Excellent.
That is correct.
Okay.
So good morning to you and all listeners.
Good morning.
Morning, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm doing quite well. Thank
Great,
you.
great. And both ladies are going to be telling us all about ECAB's new Smart ATMs. Tell us, what is a Smart ATM? Talk to us.
Okay. So a Smart ATM really is an automated teller machine. But it's using advanced capabilities. And this is done through modern technology. So unlike the standard ATMs, these new ATMs, they can handle contactless payments. We can have remote maintenance. So therefore, if there's an issue, our team can actually access the machines from a remote location, which is very good. In addition to that, they do have the capabilities that we can customize and have a personalized experience. You would realize that sometimes you may travel and you may go to an ATM and the ATM actually calls your name. It may tell you happy birthday if it's your birthday.
Yes.
So exactly. So these ATMs, they do have that functionality to do all of this kind of stuff and make it a more personalized experience. But today, July 1st, the feature that we are promoting or launching today are the deposit features for these smart ATMs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how long have you been using these smart ATMs? I know that you're launching that particular deposit feature today, July 1st, but ECAB has been using these smart ATMs for a while.
Right, that is correct. These machines would have been deployed last year, but you would have noticed that when they were deployed, the only functionality that you had at that point in time, which was for withdrawals. But now you'll be able to do those deposits. So customers will realize that once you go into a branch as well, you'll see a combination. You'll still see one of the old ATMs, and you will see these new ATMs as well, which now can do withdrawals and deposits. So the features that we speak about today, these we have to remind persons they're only happening on the smarter ATMs, the new ATMs. Mm-hmm. So you'll realize that. So
when you go into the kiosk, you have to look for the newer ATMs, the smarter ATMs. They're all smart machines, but these ones are smarter. Yes?
That is correct. The other name for them is intelligent ATMs as well. But but customers, they would have been au fait with this because they would have been installed or deployed since January last year.
Right.
So, and as well, you'll see the signage on them as well that says smart ATM, sorry, so that you'll know the difference. Now, in addition to that, as customers should know, since they've been there for some time now, the locations that have those are at our High Street branch, Redcliffe Street, Woods, Former Scotia, and Coolidge. Mm-hmm. So those locations are where we have these new ATMs deployed and functioning for both of those features.
Okay. Jessica, perhaps you can go into the smart deposit features. Talk to us about what a customer will find on the smart deposit, smart ATMs with the deposit features, please.
So now using the smart ATMs, you can deposit up to 30 bills or 15 checks in one transaction. So it has that ability to process a bulk transaction. Mm-hmm. And you can do all of this without an envelope, which many people are, of course, excited about. Mm-hmm. I must say some people were too excited because once we started posting on social media that you would not need an envelope, some people jumped ahead and started not using an envelope.
Right.
But today is the day, and as Michele would have said, there are only certain machines that have that capability. So they are the smart ATMs, and they are at the location that Michele mentioned, the locations that Michele mentioned, and they are also labeled. So
Excellent.
you will also be able to make the deposits in either US or EC. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Very good.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yep. So the process as well is, it's quite simple. I want persons to realize that you're not really deviating from what you would have done from before. That the big thing is that, as Jessica said, you can make those deposits now in a bulk deposit. And the key thing is that you no longer need that envelope to make that deposit. I'm sure we've all gone to the ATM one time at some point, and there's no envelope,
Yep,
and you're
yep.
searching in your bag just for that envelope to put the cash in. So that's the beauty of it. And as I said, the process is very easy. You insert your card just as you would have before. There are all of the prompts that are coming up on the screen to tell you what to do, just as your experiences with an ATM. You put in your card. It'll ask you if you want to make a deposit, if that's a cash or it's a check deposit. You will select which one you need. If, as Jess said, if you are doing a cash deposit, you can select now if you're putting that deposit in US or if it's an EC deposit. When that process goes through, you will with the cash deposit, the ATM, and this is the smartness of the ATM now, the ATM will actually decipher what that cash is. It will tell you if it is 420s or 500s, and it will show you that breakdown on the screen. So that's where the smart technology is coming in, and it helps with that verification process of the cash that you are depositing. When you're depositing your checks now, you insert your checks into the check chute, and all of these are labeled for you, so there's no issue in knowing where to position that. Once your checks go in as well, you will see that the image of your check appears on the screen. And you will then do that verification process. So I've put in a check now, and I will confirm, hey, listen, this check is for let's say $200. The next check is for $1,000. So we do that verification, and in both cases, whether you make a cash deposit or a check deposit, when you get that receipt, it will show you a summary of what you've deposited.
Excellent. So the smart technology, is this AI? Is this part of the AI rubric technology?
No, I don't think so. I would need the IT guys on the call to verify that. So I'm not certain of that.
What cards are compatible with these smart ATMs?
So our smart ATMs, they accept Visa and MasterCards. These are the debit, the credit, and the prepaid cards. And ECAP's cards, the cards issued by ECAP are also compatible with the ATM. So the regular cards that you are familiar with that have that chip technology will work well with the smart ATMs.
Great. Now, let's talk a little about some of the do's and don'ts of using your smart ATMs.
So, as mentioned, you do not need an envelope. Not only do you not need it, you should not use it. So you can just put in your cash and have confidence that the transaction will be processed just fine. So you don't need to use any type of material to aid the transaction. Don't use any rubber bands. Don't use any paper clips, pins, bags. Don't do anything like that. Just insert the cash in the slot, and that is labeled. And you also do that for your checks, and the transaction will be properly processed. And you don't want to use any coins. That is something that is a constant. Like with the old ATMs, you don't insert any coins. It's the same thing with the smart ATMs. And you don't want to use any mutilated bills either, because the machine would then have trouble reading that. So you want to make sure that the money is in a condition
Jessica, slow down. Mutilated bills. You talking in these fancy terms, Jessica. Tear up. You don't want to tear up bills.
No, tear up, mash up money, the money that has maybe been through the wash multiple times. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this $100 here.
Yes.
No, you don't want to do that.
Okay.
So make sure that the money is in fair condition so that it can be properly accepted
But if
by
you
the
have a torn bill, though, can you come into the bank and get it replaced? Yes?
sure, sure, definitely. But
Okay.
you wouldn't want to
To put
go through
that
the
in the
process.
smart
Yeah.
ATM. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Sorry. I broke your stride just now.
No problem, no problem. So these are just some of the simple do's and don'ts. And then, as Michelle would have said, you follow the prompts that you're accustomed to following. So you can have a better understanding of the process because we're here on the radio, we're talking about what you should do. We have videos telling you what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, follow the prompts that you see on the ATM. When is it that you're inserting your money? It doesn't really matter which way you put the money into the machine. But when it comes to the checks, you want to make sure that they're upward facing.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned before, you can do bulk transactions. So maybe you are depositing 2 checks. You have one that is 100 and maybe you have one that is 1,000. The machine will scan that information and display it on the screen. And so when that information comes up on the screen, you want to be able to enter into the ATM. Yes, this is a check for this amount. And so that is why you want to make sure that the check is facing upwards. But
So
as
you
I
put
said,
them in individually. You have 3 checks. You put the first one,
no,
or you
No,
put them together.
you put them in all at once.
All at
It's
once.
a bulk
Okay.
deposit.
Ah.
But the ATM, it will read them and then it will start to display the information
Very good.
one by one. So then you start to go through and see, okay, this check is from wherever, and you see the amount coming up, and you will verify that is the right amount.
Okay. Very good. What sort of processes do you have in place to assist those customers who may not be technologically savvy, who may not necessarily understand how to use these new features? Michele?
Yes, yeah, very good question. And we're very mindful of that, that everybody has a different level of understanding, especially when it comes to technology, and people do get very apprehensive about it. And so sessions like these that we're having today to help to sensitize the public, to let them know, listen, this is here. This is a technology that, there's no getting away from it.
Right.
The world is changing this way. So we do have to change with the world. But sessions like these where we're talking to the public to let them know that exactly what you're supposed to do. In addition to that, we will be sending out continuous information and tips via social media, via email as well. We have the how-to videos that Jessica would have spoken to, and these videos they're available on social media as well.
Okay.
And we'll also be airing them on ABS TV for the next month. Those will be in rotation, showing you exactly how you can do a check deposit, how you do a cash deposit, right? And in addition to that, we would be utilizing radio as well for those tips. But it is really stressing to persons. It's not a hard process. There's lots of signage that is on the machines, labels to say, hey, listen, this is where your checks go, this is where your cash goes. In addition to that, at our branches where we have these ATMs, our branch ambassadors, they're going to be fully engaged, especially in these early weeks when persons are coming to the ATM to assist persons and to make sure they know what to do if they have any troubles at all. And lastly, between the branch ambassadors and obviously our customer service at the branches, we have our customer support and digital banking team. They are always accessible. They are available every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And there are many ways that you can reach out to them too. If let's say that you went to the ATM and you're just saying something's still bothering you, you're still not certain about something, you can give these guys a call. They are at 480-6186. I'll repeat that again, 480-6186. As well, you can email them if you want. at info@ecabank.com. So at info@ecabank.com, or you can chat with them live through our website. Right. So there are many ways that you can reach out to the to our call center. So we've got multiple ways. We're going to be out there in the public. You've seen those how-to videos in the branch. We have the branch ambassadors assisting you as well when you're coming through to make those transactions. And then we have the customer support who are also available every single day to assist customers, not only in this, anything else that they have problems with.
Ladies, someone is asking on the board, please ask the ECAB ladies if credit card payments can be made at the smart machines.
Right. At the moment, you make your credit card payments through more banking. That is the way. You can come in branch, but of course, we are definitely trying to discourage persons from doing that. Who wants to stand up in a line when there is more banking available that you can easily transfer the funds to pay your credit card?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, is ECAB currently planning to bring other smart ATMs on stream to, further modernize the banking experience for us Antiguans and Barbudans? What are your plans in this regard?
Certainly, we do have plans to eventually phase out the older machines, so all of them will be smart ATMs, which is why this educational process is so important, because there will be a point when all of them are the same, all of them are smart ATMs.
And so eventually, all we're going to be seeing is the smarter ATMs across Antigua and Barbuda. You have ATMs in Barbuda as well, right?
No, we don't have ATM in Barbuda as yet. No.
Not yet. I like that. That sounds promising, Michele.
Of course, of course.
Now, as we are on the topic of ATMs, is there any other information on ATM usage that you probably would like to advise the public of?
Yes. In speaking with our call center, there are some questions that persons do have would like addressed. So we realize that sometimes there are frequently questions asked about if there are charges to use the ATM, if there's a charge incurred to use your ATM. And the thing is, if you are using your ECAB debit or credit, if you're using your ECAB debit card at an ECAB ATM, there are no charges attached for doing so. If you use your ECAB card and you use it at another bank, of course, then there is a charge that bank imposes for using their ATM. But if you're using your ECAB debit card and you're using it at an ECAB ATM, there are no charges incurred for doing your transaction. In addition to that, if you're using your credit card, this is where you might get a charge. If you are using your credit card and you are getting a cash advance, and a cash advance is when you are making a withdrawal from your credit card, those transactions do have a charge attached to it, and that is standard across all banks locally or overseas. Cash advance transactions do have do carry a charge. So that's a question that persons frequently ask the call center. In addition to that, they might ask, what is a denial fee? You may see sometimes that a fee, there's a prompt on the ATM that tells you that a denial fee will be charged. And what that fee is that if you withdraw more than the stipulated minimum balance of your account. Now, you may have an account. There are some accounts that there's no minimum balance, like digital banking account. But then there are other accounts that have a charge of, let's say, you have to have a minimum balance of $100 or $200. Right. So in a case like that, if you do a transaction and your transaction is taking you below what the minimum requirement is for your account, you will be charged a fee. Now, the thing is that when you're using the ATM, a prompt will come up at the ATM and it will tell you, hey, listen, you're going to be charged a fee. You're going to be charged a denial fee, right? So you are notified that this fee would be charged if you're carrying your account below the minimum balance, right? I think the last thing that people normally ask, they ask why our ATMs go down at 1 p.m. every day. Um, that is very different, especially for the former Scotia customers, that there's a period of time in the day that the ATM goes down. And the reason that this is so that it helps the custodials to facilitate the clearing of the deposits within at that ATM. So
Okay.
they clear the deposits at that time, and they also replenish the machines at that time. And it's done at this 1 o'clock, because the that one, we still give customers a chance who have deposited in the day. Let's say that you made a deposit and you really need this money to hit your account that day. If you deposit it before 1, you will see that deposit made.
Right.
It will be reflected on your account. So it's like almost a grace period, that if persons are making their deposits before 1, they will still see that reflected the same day. So that 1 o'clock downtime, which happens for about 15 to 30 minutes, it doesn't take a full 30 minutes all days. It depends on how many deposits are in the machine. But it is to facilitate customers, to facilitate the clearing of deposits that were made that day,
Yes.
and also to replenish the machine.
Someone is asking, Michele and Jessica, not sure if I missed, but with this smart ATM, how soon would you have access to your funds? Is it still a 2-day wait? I think you might have addressed that in your last comment, Michele. Do you still have to wait?
Yes, if it for checks, it still has to go through the normal the verification process that goes through. If it's a check, if it is your cash, obviously, then that's immediate. But yes.
Excellent. And another question on the board: what happens when the smart ATM runs out of paper for a deposit?
Runs out of paper for deposit. I am not sure. The only paper that would be used, is for receipts. For the receipts. So in that case, obviously, our custodials, they try to ensure when they do that replenishment on a daily basis that the rolls are full for the paper receipts. But the only paper would be the receiving of a receipt after the transaction is done.
Because I think you need to underscore, Michele, that we no longer using envelopes. So even if you have cash, if you have checks, a number of checks, you don't need to have an envelope to make those deposits.
That is correct. The key of the smart ATMs is that you can now make bulk deposits, meaning now that I have the ability to deposit the 30 bills and the 15 checks, and I don't require an envelope in order to do this. And the smart ATMs, the last thing which we really didn't stress on too, is that you can activate these ATMs now either by inserting your card, or by swiping the sensor. You can now just tap your card, just run your card across the sensor, the branded piece face towards you, and that will activate the machine as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, someone is on the board is saying, why isn't the PIN required for the tap-in system, which I think is more secure?
No, your PIN, no. So tell them, don't get alarmed. Your PIN is still needed. It just, instead of inserting the card, as you know that normally you have, exactly. So instead of inserting the card, you have to put in your PIN. If you tap your card, you still have to put in your PIN, and they are quite correct for security reasons. This would definitely still be engaged because we wouldn't want that anybody who, let's say, got a hold of your card can easily have access to your account. Yeah, so you still have to put in your PIN.
And someone wants to join the bank, Michele and Jessica. Ask your guests, please, what is the requirement to join the bank? I need a bank card right away.
Well,
so
there's no problem, but they can make an appointment. They can do that through our website, make an appointment. The ladies, as soon as they receive that request, they will advise you of all the documentation that is required based on the type of account that you want to open. and they will be happy to assist you at the Recluse Street branch, which is our customer service center.
Great.
Welcome to ECAB.
Yeah, well, we'll tell them welcome to ECAB in advance.
That's right. So go on down to ECAB. And this last one, the machines don't give you enough time to read information while you are banking. Someone is saying that it goes very quickly. So is there any way that it can go at a slower pace so that you can read while you are doing your banking?
Okay, that is a valid question, an observation as well. I can definitely take that note, that concern or comment, and we can liaise then with our IS team to see if there is any way that we can delay the messages a bit, so that the persons can have a better experience.
Excellent.
And another thing as well, we mentioned that we do have videos on social media. And so while it can be a little bit daunting when you are at an ATM, you're hearing the beeping, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to input this or input that. We do have videos on our Facebook page. And if you go on YouTube, you can type in Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank, and you will see videos about how you can make a cash deposit, how you can make a check deposit using the Smart ATM deposit features. So even before you get to the machine, you're already familiarizing yourself with the interface. You have an idea of how the machine looks. You can have an expectation of what you will see coming up on the screen. So even though, as Michele noted, we will pass that information on to our IT team, you can still have an idea of how the machine will operate ahead of time. So take the time out to familiarize yourself with what is on social media already, so that you're not too taken aback when you're actually using the ATM.
Okay, great. Michele, you have the final word. Just tell us what happens today, July 1st, your Smart ATM deposits.
Okay, so yes, today, July 1st, the Smart ATMs are now available to take deposits. These are bulk deposits for check and cash. You can deposit up to 15 checks at a time, as well as 30 bills. There are no envelopes required to do these transactions. We also ask and remind you that we don't need any staples, any bags, anything like that, no foreign elements when you're making these deposits as well. We are here to assist you. Our teams, the branch ambassadors, will be there to assist you. As just said, we have the aides as well to help you, and those will be running on TV, and they are available as well to be seen on our social media. Don't be daunted. This is the way of the future, and it's a good thing.
Excellent. It's a great thing. Thank you very kindly, Michele Marhsall, Marketing and Communications Manager, and Jessica Russell, Marketing and Communications Officer. You have been very informative and engaging. And for those persons, if you want to call the call center, it's 480-6186, or you can email info@ecabank.com. Let's take a break, and we'll come right back with Dale Destin after these messages.
Bank smarter with the Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank's Smart ATM deposit features. You can now deposit up to 30 bills or 15 checks at once at any of our Smart ATMs located at our High Street, Redcliffe Street, Woods, or Coolidge branches. With no envelopes required, making deposits has gotten easier. Remember, no need for staples, rubber bands, coins, or clips. Just tap your card to start your transaction and follow the instructions. Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. Think outside the bank.